Welcome back to FDVN's channel. In today's video, we will introduce a new vocabulary lesson on the topic of history of lore. This is but a very abridged sketch of Babylonian lore, but it shows what extraordinary advances had been made by this talented race. Many of the cumbrous practices of the earlier Aryans and Semites had been cast off, and the social organization was far on the highroad to the conditions afterwards attained at Rome. But it is here to be noticed that private personal property had at last emerged as the possession of the individual. Individual responsibility was beginning to dawn in the lore. A law of crime as a public offense was dawning. The relaxing effects of a widely extended commerce on the primitive lore are very plain. The lore has now become complicated. No longer is the casual knowledge of the elders or the priests sufficient in the lore. A learned class of judges is manning the king's courts, and justice has become something that the king owes to all his land. The Semitic lamp of legal culture was passed on to another race whose genius lay in gradually ameliorating conditions in the lore by elevating the ideas of the deity, and by advancing the conceptions of rightful conduct. After Babylonia had long been a flourishing empire, the Hebrew race emerged from a barbarous condition of life. They, by their very position, lay in a critical place. The marching and countermarching armies of Semites and Egyptians, contending for the mastery of the world, passed over the land. The re-editing of the Hebrew documents after the Babylonian captivity renders it difficult to separate different stages of the Hebrew laws. But since those laws have exerted their great influence on the medieval and modern lore of Europe in their form, as shown in the Bible, it is not necessary to do more than to take the laws as they now exist in what we consider the sacred scriptures. In the age of the Antonines, the gradually accumulated Praetorian law was enacted into the form of the perpetual edict by the Emperor Hadrian. The theory of law applicable to the emperor as the legislative power that the Roman people had confided to the emperor, the function of legislation, was now developed. Great lawyers were now holding the posts of power and were utilized as administrators. Papinian was Praetorian prefect under Severus, and Caracalla, the unworthy son of Severus, put him to death. Ulpian had been the assistant of Papinian, and became his successor as Praetorian prefect. Ulpian lost his life in a mutiny of the Praetorian Guard. From this time forward, the empire was often rent among rival claimants to the imperium. After another such struggle, Constantine, who had become sole emperor, definitely made Christianity the state religion and transferred the capital of the empire to the Greek Byzantium, which he renamed Constantinople.